Hey folks, so this week I'm doing a different type of collection video. Don't worry, I'm still going to do game collections, but I think I'm also going to do ones that are collections of gaming related items. Like I already did a couple of those before, like amiibos and stuff, but I'm going to try and do more of those. So for this one I'm going to focus on cartoons that were based on video games that I have on DVD, my collection of those. Not a huge collection, but there's some pretty funny stories with some of them. And another reason I wanted to do this is because, well, it's September, back to school time for kids. I mean, I graduated over a decade ago, but that's beside the point. And yeah, it's like, whenever I go to Target or Walmart around this time and I see all the back to school stuff, it's like, it brings back memories. And probably one of the best memories was like, I remember coming home from school in the afternoon and watching like cartoons and kid shows stuff. Not necessarily on the obvious networks like Nickelodeon, but also like Fox Kids, Kids WB, PBS, hell, even CBS and UPN had kid shows at one point. So yeah, let's just get into it. The first one I have is Captain N, which I could be wrong, but I think this is kind of hard to come by now, so I'm glad I bought it when I did, which was probably ages ago. But yeah, this show was, like, I got a soft spot in my heart for the show, even though it is very corny. Like, I mean, the character designs, some of the, on, like, Mega Man and Simon Belmont are just, like, Mega Man looks like a race car driver, and Simon Belmont, I don't know. But I think the best way to describe this show is, like, it was a cool idea, just not executed very well. And to truth be told, I'd love to see a reboot of this series, even if it was just on, like, Netflix or something. And if the characters looked more, well, accurate. So next we got, actually 2 volumes here. It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show! Hey, paisanos! Back when they, the 2 guys would dress up like the Mario Brothers. And it's funny when you go back and watch them. Like, I'm just like, when the episodes when they have the guest stars and stuff, like when I first got these years ago and I was watching them and it was like, the wrestler Sergeant Slaughter was a guest star. I was like, oh my god, I remember this one. And, funny story. God, back in 97, when I was in 5th grade, I remember I rented this Alvin and the Chipmunks movie that was called Batmonk. It was one of those, like, short half-hour flicks. And so, my brother and I were watching it, and we noticed so many mistakes, like, you know, like, mess-ups and stuff, and, like, the artwork and stuff, more than I can remember. The reason I'm bringing that up was because, back in the early, fast forward to the early 2000s, you know, it was actually around the time the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie came out. I know that because I bought one of the Lego play sets that I was assembling while watching something I rented at Blockbuster. And when I rented at Blockbuster was, it was a bunch of it was 3 of these on a VHS tape, and I was like, ooh, there was actually 2 of them, 2 different, you know, I rented one of them. So, you know, I was watching it, and then I was watching it with my brother, and he was like, he noticed a mistake, then he noticed another one, and I think, you know, bring like another and stuff, and he's like, he goes, oh, don't tell me it's like that Batmonk thing, because it's like, it's one of those things you haven't seen in years, and you're like, oh, this is so exciting, and then we notice all these mistakes, and he's like, oh, it's like that friggin' Batmonk thing. That was funny. So then, of course, there was Super Mario Brothers 3, which, you know, based off the later NES game, and this was cool because it had a lot of the concepts from the cartoon, like it had, the game, excuse me. You know, it had all the items, like the leaf and the frog suit, or you know what I'm talking about. It also had the Koopa Kids, which was kind of cool, even though they looked a bit odd. You know, they changed all their names. Like, for example, Larry, they changed his name to Cheatsy, and the way he talked was, you can actually kind of see it by like the look on his face. Even kind of looks like he reminds me of like that. I can't think of the guy's name because I'm almost positive that he was an actor from like way back in the day. He was in like a lot of the classic Looney Tunes episodes. He always had the kind of like very droopy eyes and big pouting lips, and he always talked like, "Why did he run away like that? it makes me want to do horrible things. You know, that's kind of what Cheatsy sounded like. He reminded me of that guy. Maybe that's what they were going for. And then there was Super Mario World, which was still my favorite Mario game of all time. And I loved the show as a kid. Actually, I still like it now, pretty much. The only thing that, as a kid, one thing that really bothered me, now I don't really care so much, was how they made Yoshi kind of like a baby. Well, they really did make him like a baby. It's like, oh, Mario, how you doing? You know, he had like that very baby-like voice, but, you know, whatever. And then, of course, there was, well, excuse me, Legend of Zelda. You know, there's actually been, I think people have said that before. It's like, oh, is that why Link doesn't talk in the games? But whatever. This show was, again, corny, but it had its moments. Yeah. Another corny one. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. This takes me back. This one was, like, more goofy. You know, you had Robotnik only had the two robots, Scratch and Grounder, and then there was Coconuts, who was probably in like every other episode, and every now and then there was like another character and stuff. This show was like, as goofy, it had more of like a cartoon, it was more cartoony, you know, like slapstick kind of stuff, you know, so it's okay. But then there was Sonic the Hedgehog, just plain Sonic the Hedgehog. This one I think is my favorite. This one it's actually one of my most favorite cartoons based off a video game franchise, because this one was taken much more seriously. It had like kind of a darker tone to it, and yet like all the other characters, like as you can see on there, there's Bunny and Rotor. I remember them. I remember Sally. Do not remember friggin' I think there's a picture of him in here somewhere. What the hell was his name? Yeah, him right there, Antoine. I do not remember him, but I remember the other characters. I even remember the robot Sonic, his Uncle Chuck, who had been turned into a robot. And of course, when I was a kid, I remember seeing this like after Sonic the Hedgehog CD, or I remember like Sonic the Hedgehog CD or Sonic CD, whatever you want to call it. I remember really liking Metal Sonic. I thought he was like a cool character and stuff, and I thought, because I was like 6 or 7 years old when I first saw this, I thought that Uncle Chuck was another like Metal Sonic that had aged, you know, that little kid's logic or something. But yeah, this was a great show. Actually, it still is. And the funny thing is, if you look up the intro theme to this song, I guarantee it'll get stuck in your head because it's such a catchy tune. Now we're going to fast forward a few years. We have Pokemon the Indigo League, all 3 volumes or sets. Now, I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but I actually got into the... I mean, I know this is technically an anime, it's not really a cartoon, but whatever. And I got into the anime before I got into the games. I'm sure I'm not the only one that did that, but a funny thing was, I still remember, like, how I got into it, you know, and I don't know how many people remember this commercial, and I don't think it's on YouTube. I've looked, but it was like a very early commercial for the games that was, for the Blue and Red games, and basically what it was, there was a bunch of Pokemon hanging around in a living room, and then a tornado started sucking them in, and then it reveals that the tornado is coming from a Game Boy, so the Pokemon are being sucked into the tornado in the Game Boy, and then Pikachu was hanging onto a curtain, and then Pikachu inevitably gets sucked in as well, the last one to be sucked in. And then it was like, gotta catch them all, or something, and then it showed, like, you know, 20 seconds of gameplay, and it says, like, Pokemon Blue and Red, now available on the Game Boy. And it was fun. It was probably about at least the 3rd time I saw the commercial. My sister had walked by, because I was in the living room, and it's like a big doorway, and then, you know, the TV at the time was straight across from the doorway. So my sister had walked by, and she's like, you know there's a show of that? And I was like, oh, really? When's it on? It was like, oh, it's on the UPN network at 3:30 in the afternoons, back when UPN had more cartoons and shows, and kids shows and stuff. So it was, the next afternoon, it was probably about quarter of four, excuse me. And I was like, oh, I forgot about that show, so I put it on. And it was like, it was the episode, The Water Flowers of Cerulean City, and the battle between Ash and Misty had just started. It was funny, because I remember, you know, it's like what Pikachu was like clapping, like just like Misty's like, Ash was like, Pikachu, you're supposed to be on my side, and I was like, hey, that's the one from the commercial that was hanging onto the curtain, because at the time it was this new thing to me, like I didn't know who Pikachu was or any of the names or anything. And an interesting thing about when the show was on UPN was that each episode was on a specific day. There was actually a reason for that, which I'll get to in a moment. Like, let me put it this way. Basically, so the first episode, you know, Pokemon I Choose You was always on a Tuesday. Pokemon Emergency was always on a Wednesday. Ash Catches a Pokemon was always on a Thursday. Challenge of the Samurai was always Friday. Showdown in Pewter City was the following Monday. Then Tuesday was Clefairy and the Moonstone. Wednesday was the Water Flowers of Cerulean City. Thursday, the Path to the Pokemon League. Friday, the School of Hard Knocks, and so on. Now this went all the way up to episode number... where is it? Episode number 40. The March of the Executor Squad. And this episode always fell on a Monday. So, after which, it would just go back to the beginning, you know, and just keep re-airing the same 40 episodes. That's why the first episode was always on a Tuesday. And then with the other episodes, starting with The Problem with Paris, would be on Fox Kids on Saturday mornings. And it was just like a... yeah, but it's a funny thing. I don't know how many people remember that, but I certainly do. Then there was the Orange League, or Adventures in the Orange Land. This was a pretty cool season. And I remember this was on the same time as Digimon, or it was on like the same weekend, so it was like I would watch this at like 8:30 or 9, and then Digimon would be on Fox on like, you know, it would be the time after. Let's just say this was 8:30, Digimon would have been out 9, so it was like, oh, how convenient. You know, I don't have to go switch back and forth, I can watch one and then the other. Now if you do a comparison to Pokemon and Digimon, because I'm sure people do that to this day, I've been doing it for probably 20 years, but I like them both, but there are things I like better with each. Like Pokemon, they have like better names. You know, Digimon, everything is Mon at the end, and but Pokemon was kind of more like kid friendly. Like it had, it wasn't really like Digimon was more graphic. We'll put it that way. Whereas Pokemon, yeah, you'd have Ash like electrocuted or burned and stuff, but it was more of like a slapstick kind of thing. Whereas Digimon was like more graphic and stuff. But yeah. Then there was Pokemon The Johto Journeys, which I don't know why, but for some reason they split this up into several seasons, like with the Johto region. You know, so there was the Johto Journeys, then there was Johto League Champions, which I don't have on DVD, and finally there was Pokemon Master Quest. The funny thing, despite the fact that the Johto region, or Gen 2, Gold, Silver, whatever, it was my favorite in the games-wise, but the show I kind of started tuning in and out. I don't know why. Maybe I was just kind of moving on to other things or something. I was going through changes. I was probably about 14 at least when that season was going on. Two more. We have Earthworm Jim, which it's okay. I mean, it's one of my favorite favorite video game mascots of the 90s. The show has its moments. It kind of has like that Freakazoid vibe to it. At least that's what it feels like to me. Which Freakazoid would, I don't know. I don't like that show as much as I used to when I was a kid. I do like it, just not as crazy about it as some of the other Spielberg cartoons, like Tiny Toon Adventures, for example. But yeah, this was like a whim buy, and I was like, whatever. Finally, we have my other favorite cartoon series based off a video game, rivaled only with Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man. Now this show it's kind of balanced, like it's corny, but it's also pretty, not graphic, but it is Yeah. I mean, well, you do have them, like, being blown up and stuff. Granted, they're robots, but still. Yeah, this show, I still think it's pretty good. I love this show. And a funny thing, I remember the last episode, well, one of the last episodes was the episode where X, Vile, and Spark Mandrill come from the future. And I remember a friend of mine from high school, I don't know if this is true or not, but said it was supposed to be a Mega Man X animated series, which never happened or something. Like, I'd love to see that if it still happened. But that's my collection of video game cartoons, DVDs, if you will. There's still more that I plan to get. Like, I want to get a Double Dragon. I've seen that on like eBay or something, but I think it's like a bootleg or something. But those are kind of hit and miss. So, because that show I think holds up somewhat well. But yeah, so. That's my collection video. I already said that, but I said it again. So, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.